If the doors to perception were cleansed, everything would appear as it is, infinite. In this quote by William Blake, we learned that perception is not always clear-cut. Perceptions change from person to person and are most influenced by past experiences, cultural influences, and attitude. According to the textbook Psychology by David Myers, perception is the active process of selecting, organizing, and interpreting the information brought to the brain by the senses. This process helps us to create something that has meaning to us. The first influence that I'm going to talk to you about is past experience. For example, if one person who does a lot of traveling takes a plane ride and from the window sees lots of tiny little moving objects, they know them to be cars. If another person who has never set foot on a plane takes a plane ride and sees the same tiny moving objects, they might think they are ants. We are more likely to see something that is familiar to us. And if we have something in our memory to compare the image to, we will. If something is not familiar, we may not see it at all, or we may see something completely different. What we see does not have to be based on reality. In this picture, squares A and B are actually the same shade of gray, but we see what we want to see. The second influence I'm going to talk to you about is culture. There are many definitions of culture, and a common misconception is that culture is race. Culture is the systems of knowledge shared by a relatively large group of people. They can be beliefs, values, religion, or roles. According to the textbook Understanding Human Communication by Ronald Adler and George Rodman, culture provides a perceptual filter that influences the way we interpret even the simplest events. The last influence I'm going to talk to you about is attitude. For example, if one person who is a pessimist gets laid off from work, they may get discouraged and lay on their couch for months. If another person who has a positive attitude gets laid off, they may see it as a challenge to get a new and better job. Our attitudes change all the time, and whether unconsciously or consciously, they alter what we think. Attitude can also be socially influenced and change how we originally saw something. In this picture, you can see the different kinds of people, negative and positive. In conclusion, most importantly, perception is influenced by past experience, cultural influences, and attitude. According to Melissa Edwards, professor of Introduction to Communication class, there is no fixed meaning to anything. We can always change our perspectives and their meanings. Why not change them to what we prefer?